Hello and welcome to episode 150 of Michael and Ivanka's Grand Podcast. It's a podcast where we figure out what we think about stuff. My name's Michael Forrest.
And I'm Ivanka Majic.
And this week we're just going to do like a quick-ish one before we have a bit of time off, just to do a little 2020 in review. As sort of like what are we grateful for this year? Because there's plenty to not be grateful for. So let's just kind of figure out, where there was progress.
Yes, sorry, you're waiting for me to talk. I'm like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Sorry. Yes, gratitude. Gratitude, yeah.
Bit of gratitude. And how many things are you grateful for? Should we give them a number? 4. I'm grateful for 4 probably things.
4 probably things. Yeah, probably 4 things.
Yeah, so there we go.
Probably.
That's the teaser to the episode. Right, let's play the music. Maybe I can ring a sleigh bell on top of the music this week.
Oh, maybe, yeah, that'd be cool.
Let me go and get it.
Wow, that is very sleigh bell. Let's not do that too much, though.
How is it going, Ivanka?
It's going well. I went for a swim in the sea this week.
Yeah.
It's rather a cold swim type thing. I've got a little loop of me stretching ahead of my swim.
Okay.
Anyway, went for a winter swim. I had neoprene gloves, neoprene feet, swimming hat, and then my bikini. So I looked really odd. But apparently this is very good for you. So Nick and I decided to go and do it. And it was very nice. That was cool. I'm going to try and do it a bit more.
Yeah, so how cold is the water?
Not that. I don't think it's that cold. I think it's the sea still 16, 17 degrees, which frankly is the same temperature as the sea in Brighton in August. So, but it does, obviously it feels very cold. You get in, you get tingly body, you have to keep moving around a lot, and then you've got to get out and wrap up really warm. Gave that a go.
All right, well, a bit of winter swimming.
Winter swimming. In the Adriatic. I told my brother, and my brother went, did anyone see you? Because the whole village will be discussing that mad Herzegovinian English woman and her English husband being mad. I have, in an homage to 2020, had to restart my sourdough starter.
Oh no.
Crazy
that sounds
days.
Bad. What happened?
Well, I let it die when it was too hot in the summer, and then I've just not been bothered. And then I asked somebody local, I was like, there's a little Facebook group for sharing things out of your garden, and I asked if anyone got sourdough starter, and the lady that I know on it, she went, I have never heard of that in my whole life. So I said to her, well, in about a month, I'll invite you over for bread and coffee. So she's like, oh, I'm really looking forward to that.
She can take some goo with her.
Yeah, I'll send her home with some goo.
Have you seen Succession?
No.
It's like the sort of billionaire family kind of thing, and they're all like trying to it's the patriarch's birthday, so they're all like they've got to buy this present. So like one sort of like, it's just like, it doesn't matter what you get, just make it cost like 35 grand and just that's all, and give it to him. And so this one guy like buys him this watch and he's like, yeah, whatever. And then the more thoughtful son like presents his father with like a sourdough starter, and the dad's just like, thank you for the goo. Okay, it's just like the least impressed you could possibly be. It's a wonderful show. You should watch that. It's another one that I'm recommending. Anyway, goo.
Yeah. So goo.
You're in a position to gift some goo.
I am. I will be
eventually.
Eventually, I will be in a position to give some goo, and it's had a nice chat with the postman this morning. These are the things that happen in a village life. #island life. We discussed the fact he said everyone's clearly freaked out. He said, so we had a discussion about how lucky we are that we've got tangerines in the garden and it's sunny and we can go for a walk. even though there's a pandemic. There you go.
We got some tangerines this week with little leaves on them. That was nice.
They
might have been satsumas.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the difference is. I should look it up because I have trees in the garden that claim to be some of those things, but I don't. I've got 3 trees, and we have so many that we simply can't eat them fast enough. It's never happened to me in my life that I've had so many tangerines that my dad once came home with a 10-kilo sack of tangerines and just went, there you go, kids, try and finish those. And we did.
Does your house kind of smell of bins?
Does my house smell of bins?
Well, I just noticed the last 2 days, I've come out of the bedroom. Like, I took the bin out on Wednesday, and I just come out yesterday, and it's like, it smells of bins in the house. It never, and it's like, how can that bin? And I'm just blaming it. I just can only assume it's the satsumas are particularly potent at making a bin smell.
You can't imagine for a moment that I put vegetable waste in the bin.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'm sorry.
It's like
we don't have that luxury of
the compost heap, on the other hand, is thriving.
Stinks.
No, it does not stink.
As it should.
Anyway, there you go. There's a couple of stories for you. How are you, Michael?
All right, I'm going to say, I've had a bad week, but let's focus on the positives and say I'm grateful for my family this week, and I am happy that it is time to wind up. Excited about putting this episode out and having a little break, 2-week break, as we've planned. Everyone, imagine a warning of a random 2-week break. And I'll say, I did. I tried to, we announced that the video episodes were going to be YouTube patron only, but I had a whole fight with YouTube this week where I got this script that takes the audio, makes an image, overlays them, creates a video, uploads it to YouTube that I always used to run each week for the podcast. So there's something up on YouTube for those weirdos that want to listen to a podcast on YouTube, can get the audio on YouTube and it's got a picture attached to it.
You're not a weirdo.
You're not a weirdo, you one listener. And I'd sort of that script had gone out of commission because I'd been actually making real video episodes and uploading them by hand instead. And then we decided, okay, I think let's turn this extra work into profits. I'm putting extra love into something, and maybe it's something that will just tip one of you over the edge into giving us $1. Just to get access to our faces. I mean, you wouldn't believe
hands
expressions. I heard this podcast the other day where it kept going, huh? What? Huh? Oh, and never explained what the noises were about. And I was like, is this just a way of getting people to subscribe to the video, something or other? So we should react to things that we never explain more. Oh, what is that? Ooh,
what's that on your face?
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, back to the audio podcast. But yeah, so I had this whole fight because my script wouldn't log in anymore, and it was going, you haven't used your thing, and it had cancelled my quota because I hadn't used it for 3 months or something. And then I finally got that working, and I created this video that said, if you want the full video episodes, it just added this little banner to the video. If you want the full episodes, then just come. And then I tried to upload that, and I'm scripting, and then it's marking them all spam, going, this is not in compliance with our community guidelines. It's not a copyright strike, but get out of here. I also noticed there's some content ID claims that we have to deal with about some of the music in the podcast.
Oh.
So via CD Baby, Michael Forrest is apparently putting some copyright claims.
What a cheeky...
Whatever it is. It's nice that it's content IDing it, I suppose. I don't know if I must get paid then if people watch the videos on YouTube. I don't know. I need to check my balance. But yeah, so there's, so basically the upshot is I've sort of taken down some video episodes so you can see them through Patreon. All the video links on Patreon are now patron only. So that has been some admin, but hopefully, guys, 2020 is like, what's $1 for this hour-long podcast where you can see our beautiful faces?
With our lovely teeth.
So, you can see these teeth. Ugh. So 2020.
So, are we going to talk
2020.
about Christmas 2020?
What's the year, right?
Yeah, it's been a year.
Yeah.
It's been
The
a year.
year. Remember when the worst thing that was happening was wildfires?
Yeah.
I mean, still kind of the worst thing that's happening in a way, because it's, well, between, I don't know, like what's more irreversible, climate change or Brexit? I don't know.
I don't know. There's a few things that are that will. When Nick and I were talking about this is not quite. In about 3 days, we will have been here for a whole year,
Right.
which we never planned on doing, and literally here for the whole year. We've been off island 2 or 3 times, and we've been to Bosnia and Herzegovina once. To give scale, that's like I don't know, something like 60 kilometres away. So it's not a big adventure of a scale that we're normally used to. So it's quite it's quite a thing to reflect on in the context of 2020. But a year ago, we were I was frantic. I still am. These things haven't gone away. Climate change is still a problem. Brexit is still a problem. There's all these, and now we have a pandemic end of the world scenario to play with as well. Woohoo!
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yes.
But it's obviously some good things. So if we focus on what we're happy about, I'm just going to throw in he who shall not ever be given any further attention is, at least that was only had a 4-year time limit that was ultimately looks like it's been respected, and that idiot's going to be out. Did you see that leaked Zoom call with Joe Biden and the sort of like the various sort of like community leaders on The Intercept? I don't know that I don't know how brilliant Joe Biden's going to be, but I mean anything's going to be better. He comes across as pretty like aggressive and perhaps lacking in imagination to me, like just having seen sort of some behind the scenes stuff. And I think you did need the aggression to defeat, who was there before, but I'm sort of worried that it's not going to play out brilliantly. Like, I think there's still some sort of conservative thinking there, but we do need like drastic change to sort of fix certain things.
I think there are. This is a not him vote, if you know what I mean, rather than a. And I think, but there are some other, like the choices he's making for his advisory boards and people he's putting in different roles are all looking very promising. There is at least diversity, which should lead to some new ideas. So I think my hope is always that he is listening to people around him, and even like he did his thing and then he went, and now Kamala will just say everything that I was wrong about and correct me about all the things I was wrong. I was like, okay, this seems like a good attitude. And he's so he's got I did not see the leaked video that you mentioned, but I did see an article about how somebody suggesting that his wife should drop her doctor title.
Oh God, that was,
and I was like,
nonsense.
And it's like so that's kind of, all of these are good conversations to be having in public, in a weird way, like bringing, instead of it being about, how gaslit is the first lady. We've now got conversations that then have, there's a dialogue in public going, she's not Mrs. Joe Biden, she is a person in her own right, and it's with her own achievements that in many ways more significant than his.
And the piece I saw on it was that so if you're not a medical doctor, you're not allowed to be a PhD, but actually, it was the medical. There was PhDs before there were doctors, the medical doctor took it on. I saw that piece, and it was you weren't even using it first. So it's stupid.
So so there's all those kind of I'd much rather be having that sort of discourse happening in public than some nonsense made up.
To fight with something completely made up with no. Do you know Sharon's been watching Columbo, and there's the quaintest. I mean, it's great, but it's a very sort of formulaic show where like it's pretty obvious who the murderer is straight away, and then Columbo just like trolls the guy for the entire episode with these. How would you explain this? And the guy's like trying to explain away every bit of evidence is clearly guilty like every time. But the most quaint thing about it is that the episode will end on the little bit of evidence that proves that he was the murderer. Look, this, only a deaf person could have committed this murder because you just yelled when the big loud machine was on. And that's the end of the episode. And you're like, oh, how quaint that truth proving something with evidence used to be a standard enough. You know, the idea that would be just the end of it. There's nothing more to say about it now. Obviously, it just goes through court and he's convicted of murder.
I wonder how much, I don't know, blame those shows where, where they're all about the cleverness of the lawyers in the courtroom rather than about the guilt or no guilt. It's like, but we tricked you and I don't know. So I wonder how much that people think is a valid way to use the law.
Columbo, I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that the America situation is hopefully turning around. And then I guess we could like personally. Yeah. I guess it's overall been. I can't believe I'm basically step one of becoming a super wealthy, successful person is don't have to work for a living. And it seems like I'm kind of there in this gross way, in this strange and convoluted way. I have sort of managed to nail my first phase of essentially passive income, where things are just happening and it doesn't seem like I have to do anything but that I get money. And I'm like, okay, good. It's a good start. Let's leverage this into becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg. I don't want to be.
I've got a thing for you to investigate. Which is, I thought of you this morning. I saw a tweet about some doctor overheard in a hospital. I can track my sandwich across the bridge, but I can't anticipate when this trauma patient's coming in. There's no way of tracking it. So it's like, then there's a whole conversation about where venture capital is going and what we're all spending our time, what sort of apps we're spending our time making. So, maybe that's something to contemplate in the new year now that you're independently wealthy.
I mean, I've made 2 apps that are horribly unknown still. So I sort of want to give them some attention. But we'll see what happens. I sort of want to start going more where the love takes me.
So, I did, you did remind me there on the subject of apps that haven't taken off as much. Off the back of our last episode, I think, one of our listeners, one of our long-time listeners, sent me a link to a podcast episode on hidden minds or something about how stoics and gratitude. And they apparently a general sense of gratitude is incredibly support. So forming the habit of gratitude is a habit that permeates all other habits. Yeah. Which is quite a nice way of thinking about it. So, rather than focus on, wanting to form the habit of running, if you form the habit of gratitude and get it going, it will affect your running and your eating healthy and all the other goals that you've set yourself. So that's, I thought
you definitely hear about that in tricks of successful leaders. Like there's always these little things. I think of 5 things you're grateful for each day, and and then just seeing it as such a core thing of the Jewish practice, I thought I can see why that's effective.
I didn't know that bit. What
well,
do you mean?
I went because I spent some time. I was it Passover? I think it was Passover. I was there with Sharon's family, and they sort of break. It's sort of like an abridged version of it all, but there's prayers, and the gist of it that I really liked was that even if just this one thing, then it would have been enough. It would have been brilliant, kind of thing. And then even if it were just this, even if he just rescued us from the pharaohs, even if he just, there's all this kind of like stuff to it, that would have been enough. Even if he'd just given us this and it's like piling on all these things that even if it'd just been one of them, that would have been great, amazing. And so I really liked that sort of attitude. And if you're sort of like giving people that as a ritual, as a practice, then I think it does set you up for, it seems, I don't want to say, Jewish people do seem to be good at being successful in things. That's really, I don't know if that's just horribly racist, but, I wonder if that's like part of it, just this practice of gratitude there, just as part of a quasi-religious practice kind of thing. So it's not really like even about like belief. Christianity is all about like believing in something and having faith in stuff that makes no sense. And it just seems like the Jewish practice was more around like, here is a ritual. And I like the gratitude attitude. Maybe that's just because that's what I was looking for. But like, yeah. Anyway, I'm scared of talking about this.
Yes. Yeah. I understand that. I'm scared of coming. I'm like, am I supposed to correct you or not? But in summary, the gratitude attitude is what we like. Yeah, so let's go with that. Let's go with that. Yes. I like it. I'm going to have a T-shirt with gratitude attitude.
Attitude of gratitude.
Gratitude is one of the few things that can get you through the days at the moment, or the year certainly. Yeah. And I suspect we're going to need a bit more of it next year as well. Yeah. So, and
that is and it is distinct from like toxic positivity. This isn't like just be positive, even though things are horrible. It's just like it's up to you how you perceive the world. Just look, and there's always. It's tempting to focus entirely on the threats, but you got to like make some space in your brain to focus on the things that you do have and the stability that you do have. Because so often it just manifests itself in ways that like automatically you take for granted the stability and then freak out when that stability is undermined. Whereas we should have some gratitude for like what isn't constantly changing in terrifying ways.
Yeah, totally.
Even though it's boring. Appreciate the boring.
Yeah. Oh, totally. What are you grateful for this Christmas 2020, Michael Forrest?
Christmas. I'm grateful that quitting the gym didn't halt my exercise regime, and I'm still staying on top of it and pushing it. So that's been nice because I was worried. That was the main thing that I was sad about with lockdown, because everything else is. I mean, I work in a big room on my own most of the time and just like go home, and so it's not like I was hugely disrupted by the pandemic beyond freaking out about how much enforcement they were going to do. But yeah, like the gym thing was just as I was like the week that I was like, I'm going to go in every day for the first time and get my money's worth and do some classes, and it's like, no, we're closing everything. So but I'm grateful that I managed to keep that going, because my fear was that I would like fall off and get lazy. But it was an 850 cal workout this morning, so there you go, pushing it every day. Do you want to do one?
Yeah, I'm grateful for my family, the immediate family, that we actually all enjoy each other's company. Me, my husband, my daughter, my 2 dogs. We're quite a harmonious little unit. We have laughs. We make the effort to do things together. It's nice. I enjoy hanging out with my family. We do have a lot of laughs. And the child is getting better and better at being the deliberate source of the laughs, which I've now stolen from your sister's comment. But yeah, they're sort of like, it is delightful when your child starts making you laugh on purpose, not just because they're being doing weird things because they don't know any better. She's very good at voices, which I find, and so she mimics, she mimics her father's Nottingham stroke Derbyshire when she's mocking him, which is quite fun. And she's also, I think that's a big thing. And that's my immediate family, but I'm also very grateful for that slightly, that next round of immediate family being mother, sister, brother types. So, they're useful.
I'll have a go. I'm grateful for all of my siblings have little babies and kids now running around, which, I mean, makes for a complicated Christmas present. Like, logistically, it's complex. But I'm, there's my younger sister had a little baby recently, like a few weeks ago, so who's doing well, and there's another one coming from my other brother, and there's basically my DNA is assured.
There will be Forrests.
There will be bloody Forrests. So many Forrests and related. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2020's made me appreciate them all, both for spending time with them and for and for missing them. I think that's the thing, which is like, because I was when we talked about doing like a Christmas 2020 episode, there's like, in my head I was going to do this like really witty analysis of the nightmare that was, but actually when it comes down to it, there's only these, family comes really to the fore, like what helped keep you going and what do you wish wouldn't change or whatever it is. And then I think my the friends is also an important thing. I think that was my next thing I am grateful for, because it's, we've spent this whole year here, and all the people here, apart from my father's best friend, for whom I am also grateful, but they're not here all the time, So my the people we socialise with most are an 80-year-old and his 71-year-old wife. It's like who are my parents' friends, but then they've known me my whole life, which is actually really nice, really relaxing, because it's like it's a bit of a whatever. And but you also don't have to. But so even though we are meeting some very nice people who I'm enjoying getting to know, that has been inhibited by a pandemic, which has sort of highlighted how much I miss, the friends I already have. That perhaps I don't want to get lost in the mists of time, that I'd like to continue to be friends with. So, friends I'm grateful for.
On that note, I'm sort of like the fact that, video calling someone has become a bit more normalised, and I think it's helped certain friendships for me, and like I'm seeing more of certain people than I would have, because London's weird anyway. Like I'm hoping, like, just not having been able to go out to a restaurant really, or go and see people without feeling like, I shouldn't be, will just make me much more likely to be motivated to go all the way down to Catford or wherever to see my sister and
all the way
girls.
to Catford.
It's like you committed to like an 8. You might as well just be going to bloody Nottingham at that point. I mean, it's cheaper, like, obviously, to travel on a bloody train in the UK, it's going to be like 60, 70 quid now, I think, to go up to Nottingham, whereas at least it's like a £5, or I can do it, in London. But it's still just like, okay, that's my day if I go and see my sister. I'm hoping I'll feel like a lot more motivated to do that once we're allowed again, and make the most of it and appreciate everything more. Yeah. I think. Do you think this is good content?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Hey, listener, what are you grateful for? Tell us in the comments or on Twitter. There we go. Now it's content.
Now is it content?
Yeah, algorithm.
Well, I think everyone's the same. I've been reading somebody's project online, which is, I will put a link. So she's got a series of anonymous essays, which are in 2020. I have been mostly thinking about. And then it has various things, and it ranges from the really like to the seemingly trivial, but each of the things is presented in written in a very written well. So they're nice essays to read. Nice, they're good reading material, and I think it for me. It is interesting, and it makes me think about what other people are thinking about, and what they're grateful for, and all those things. Because I think a lot of what 2020, I mean, a lot of what 2020 has done is highlighted the things that you do and don't have, and that other people don't have. And like, the sort of, we talked about at the beginning of the pandemic, we talked about how, at least this is a disease that, that affects, everyone can get sick. Yeah. And we talk about, but actually, wealth still protects you, even in which shouldn't come as a surprise, but it's not a surprise. But you kind of had hoped that it would create a bit more empathy. I did, perhaps.
Yeah. But it's like when I saw that a COVID test is like £100, I was like, okay, yeah, that's how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's just loads of things.
I think what I would say, it's tempting to like want to just set fire to the year and cancel it and just reset and just pretend it never happened. But like I think you learn so much, and it's like a bad relationship. You sort of wouldn't want to
not have had it,
change it, because you learn a lot, and it changes you in ways, and it like helps you not do it again, or it helps you I would never, I hope nobody regrets. I mean, it's terrible what things that have happened, but I think if you think of it in terms of, okay, how can we move forward and with what we've learned this year, I think it becomes a net positive, and hopefully for the right people, because usually like a catastrophe or a disaster, like certain people find ways to capitalize on it. I'm not looking at myself there. I didn't do it on purpose. But if we can like take the right thing out of it and use it as a catalyst for change, because when things aren't disrupted, people just kind of like have this illusion that nothing can ever go wrong, and then nothing ever gets improved. So that's what I hope for 2021.
I think we've all been forced, or those of us who actually have some power to change, to vote, to do things, to make different choices, have had an opportunity to explore that all of those changes may not be bad. Or that some of them are worth holding on to. Maybe it's highlighted to us a bit more viscerally how hard it is for other people, and that thinking about other people is actually quite a, I feel enormously privileged in so many aspects of my life that I probably wasn't as conscious of.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think, and the first step of privilege, I guess, is just to recognise that you've got it, because it's kind of invisible to you, when you've got it. So.
I was listening to this gratitude episode last night. I know we're trying to wrap, but my one of the things he was talking about was like a lot of things it's hard to be grateful for in the moment. Like there's a sort of like, because he was talking about delayed gratification and being a child, and he's describing like how his father pushed him to do loads of things and learn loads of things at a time. Like he had to go and do educational activities during his summer holidays and all this. I was like, my dad made me do all these kind of things. And my parents were like that, and I did whinge a lot. And my dad was very, very good at going, I know that you want to do this now, but if you just hold on, just for a bit, just a few years at university, then you've got your whole life to go out every night, and you'll be able to afford to be able to do all these things. And it's like, it sort of reminded me to make my daughter do things she doesn't thank me for in the moment. It's like, because it was like, yes, actually, what you think is not nice is actually, in 20 years' time, those are the things she'll probably be going, thanks for making me brush my teeth, Mummy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We hope that you're having I can't see the camera's there. I keep putting it in front of the wrong camera. I hope that you have a lovely holiday season. Whatever you're celebrating, even if it's just that where you live, everyone just decides that's when the holidays are for the year. Even if it's not the one you celebrate, you can still enjoy the fact that everywhere's closed and you have to be at home. Yeah. So happy holidays, happy seasons, happy Christmas, for what it's worth. Christmas is good. Have you got your Christmas tree?
Yeah, my Christmas tree's up. We did it like that last weekend of November, where it's going to be because it's like, come on, we've got to make a big fuss this year about Christmas.
I think we did like the second last week of November. We've got like a reusable one, so we're just like putting that one up now.
My child did say that because Nick made our Christmas tree at pallets, and then she went, I hate our Christmas tree. It's not a proper Christmas tree, and I hate the one in Brighton even more. Which is but she's got over that now. It's decorated now. She loves our Christmas tree.
Okay,
like, love it.
I did go past like one of those Christmas tree places and smell the pine. I was like, we forgot to do the pine scent this year. So as you plasticate the whole world, you forget, there was a richness of experience that we used to have when things were made of real stuff. It's a privilege though, isn't it? All right.
Pine scent.
Yes. So Merry Christmas, and we'll do thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas. And if you like the podcast, go to grandpodcast.com. You can subscribe. You can support us on Patreon for like no money really, considering the sheer volume of content. It's help us celebrate episode 150 by supporting us on Patreon and seeing the videos of these episodes a day early. I'm hoping to keep that up. So the audio comes out on Tuesday. I want to try and get the video out on Monday now. Whoa. So you can early access video episodes is the idea. But please don't kill me if I fail. But I have no excuse, like it's because I set up the Tuesday release because of like I might have work and like it would be hard to fit it in, but now it's like I'm kind of in control.
You've got no excuse now. You've just got passive income rolling in.
Exactly, and a very low level passive income. I couldn't pay myself last month. Just like I'm not like rolling in money or anything. It's just like I'm not terrified like of being destitute if I stop working for a month. Yes, go and look at my apps. And add my music to your Spotify playlists. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
People can find me at Ivanka on Twitter. At the moment, the daughter of he who should not be named is getting so much abuse. It's really hard for me to filter out. So if you actually want to talk to me, you might have to go hello@grandpodcast.com. Whoa. And I'll definitely, that is definitely uncluttered by spam intended for high profile people with a different surname but the same first name. And that's a good place to find me, and that's it. Look forward to more episodes in the new year.
All right, and we'll see you next year. Happy
Bye.
Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Bye.